So, so here's another. Oh my god. So here's another article, folks. This is a madcap coming in. So there was a recent trend yesterday, and I follow some content creators that were retweeting this. But oh wow. So this is I don't even want to call this an article because this is just like some person just making some radicalist feminist feminist I don't know fucking propaganda for brownie points. So this is from sysdis.com, and this little page here was published 2 weeks ago, but it was trending yesterday. 114 comments, 19,243 reads. Uh, this is under. This was published by very odd here journalist Katie. Well, I can't call you a journalist because this is not very relevant to anything socially important right now. I'm just gonna call her Katie. Open-minded, open-minded Katie with a passion for just social justice. Oh, apparently, truth seeker. No. Vegan. Well, you are right for your diet. You're inclined to whatever diet you follow, so I'm not gonna complain about that. But so this is pretty much another jab at the so-called toxic masculinity going on with very sexually transgressive white males. Ooh. All right. So we're gonna break down this article, and I'm just gonna get right. I'm just gonna actually just get right to the point immediately. So this article is well, this page is pretty much just speaking out against why you shouldn't work out, why men shouldn't stay in shape, make the wisest diet choices in terms of keeping up with their health, keeping active, so that way they can have an easygoing and live, yeah, just live a very fun, carefree lifestyle to feel good about themselves in terms of just staying in shape and staying healthy. Um, and this is definitely speaking against why SJWs and feminists are uh, making making jabs on how you shouldn't be attracted to women, how women in their views should be as masculine as possible, removing of any sexual or feminine traits, which which the, there's nothing wrong with sexualizing women. It's good to feel sexual because then you're inspired to make yourself look presentable towards women, towards the opposite sex. Same with women. Women want to keep themselves looking good. That way, they can attract the most, the most handsome-looking men they could find in terms of relationships or little flings. Doesn't matter. But there's really nothing wrong with working out. Working out is probably like the best way to live a good lifestyle. So assuming with her vegan lifestyle choices, she probably lives a healthy living, which is okay. But in terms of working out, no, that's bad. We're gonna break down this page. So here it goes. Toxic masculinity refers to the cultural norms in a patriarchal society that equates masculinity with control, aggression, and violence. Whoa, this is really going off a big leap here. Okay, yes, this country, as with most countries out there, are predominantly populated by men, and they do assume social patriarchal roles, which is pretty much just how it is in the real world. But asserting control, aggression, and violence, I don't think anybody working, any male working a manager at a McDonald's would assert these things. I mean, in terms of patriarchal, I mean, she's referring to pretty much just how it's all about the patriarchy when really men So pretty much, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just at a loss just tackling this, but pretty much, men can occupy positions that sometimes women can't, and that's just a fact of life. Sometimes it's not a matter between sex; it's a matter of pretty much just being intellectual, being talented. If we're talking entertainment and media, just being physically able or just showing some dominance, not in a way of like aggression or violence, but leadership. Men can be leaders in things. Um, and when it comes to sports entertainment or just sports, yeah, these aspects are necessary to perform these kinds of roles because if you're playing in a football team or baseball or basketball, you need to be the best as you are shaping up to be under training or yeah under rigorous training, daily lifestyle routines that you have to follow to play certain sports, or or if you're just that competitively talented enough to be chosen to helm a team in like a sports or a game event, then those aspects are necessary in sports for males, especially. So we don't live in a patriarchal society where it's all about the patriarchy putting down the women, and we assert control, aggression, and violence. And yes, this has been called on in the past. This has been called out on, especially with the Harvey Weinstein stuff. I mean, Harvey Weinstein just got arrested. He got arrested 3 years ago, and he's given the worst punishment. Well, if you're excluding like the death penalty, but he's given a good enough penalty for what he's done, and we should just move on from that. Jesus, but Hollywood's trying to correct itself, even though the Harvey Weinstein shit has been going on for fucking decades, and so suddenly they're coming out in terms of reform, even though Harvey Weinstein got incriminated for all those sexually misconduct acts. But let's continue. Men are conditioned from a young age to believe that emotion, compassion, and empathy are somehow unmanly. There is nothing wrong with feeling emotion. I mean, well, for some men who feel that way, it's just pretty much just yeah. You could say it is the conditioning process. It's their upbringing. It's where they were raised. But to believe that emotion, compassion, and empathy are somehow unmanly, I disagree. There's nothing wrong with feeling emotion, which is why we have pretty much just the nature and nurture aspect when it comes to parenting. We got the father who's trying to shape us into the nature of a man, and it's important for them to have a mother figure who's all about nurturing, um, male offspring to show them that it's okay to have these emotions. It's okay to consult with others about these feelings. It doesn't make them, you know, it doesn't make them unmanly. It doesn't make them, or like in a rough term, pussies. It's just, some men who do follow by this. I mean, some, not all of them, are pretty much. It's only based on how they were just raised. There are conditioning factors that do come across households, and household factors do vary for male offsprings, for male descendants. Um, but uh, we're not we're not violent, inhuman monsters. I mean, for those who are that way, I mean, it is what that label refers to. But to have a sense of humanity, having emotion, compassion towards things, whether it's through people or through issues, are very human qualities. One of the main tactics used by those in power of a male driven society is the exploitation of physical strength. Western governments use propaganda to perpetuate a narrative that men must work out, maintain a level of physical fitness if they are to be respected in society. Well, to a point, yes. I mean, if somebody's not going to work out, if somebody's not going to keep their body in shape, let's say for any sort of physical altercation that will go on in their life, then clearly the dominance will be handed to the guy who's going to try to assert dominance to other males who don't keep themselves in shape. I think keeping yourself in shape is important for you to withstand certain things or to defend yourself in self-defense. Um, and by Western governments, if she's referring to the U.S. government, it's not propaganda. It's not propaganda. It's one of the most ridiculous things ever said here. Uh, you know, medical foundations, gyms, big gym companies want to push for the idea of keeping yourself in shape. For the most part, not just to exert any physical dominance to anybody, because then that is borderline just causing violence, but to live a healthy lifestyle. So then they can be respected in society when somebody, if you're one of those people and you're called up by someone and say, "Hey man, you're looking great. What's your secret?" Uh, that's just not fucking true. This belief was This belief was created purposefully as a way to ensure that the patriarchal. Hold on a sec. This belief was created purposefully as a way to ensure that the patriarchal agenda lives on by continuing to force women into submission via intimidation. Now, I don't think working out or staying in physical shape is not part of the belief. It's not part of the whole agenda that's been underlying within our systems, social groups, and governments to automatically force women into a form of submission or dominance. Um, I That's not fucking true. I mean, most people just want to work out just to stay in shape, and they want to attract themselves. Though for some people who do that, then they're just uh, vile people who feel that way. But for the most part, most males just want to live a decent, happy lifestyle, and working out is the key to that. Um, Women are, on average, intellectually superior to men. Now, I don't want to downgrade women, but women are emotionally superior towards men. And women are very emotionally responsive to most things compared to men. Now, intellectually superior, I mean, I know some friends who are very smart, obviously. They're very intellectually people who I've worked with in the workplace, who I grew up in school. But to say that as a fact, to say that as a fact, uh, yeah, that leaves a lot of questions. This intellectually maturity allows them to have a greater hold on their emotions when faced with confrontation. So, what about men? Men, are you saying that men cannot intellectually mature? We can't mature ourselves from learning life lessons or growing up in a certain period where things will change a lot for a male if you're growing up in a school setting or just growing up from childhood, um, making mistakes on a day-to-day basis, um, which is part of human nature. You make mistakes, and those mistakes allow you to grow better as a person. But to say that women are the only ones who are intellectually superior, that they are intellectually mature enough to grow, um, she's not really making much of a point. It's just a blanket. It's just a blanket like straw man. In comparison, the fragility of toxic. Whoops. In comparison, the fragility of toxic masculinity creates an atmosphere where men need to feel proves themselves. Where men feel the need to prove themselves as an alpha, resulting in extreme aggression and physical confrontation. Um, to a point, you could argue that with fraternities and stuff, but uh, I mean that used to be a thing back then in our history of important time where man had to be the alpha, the leader, the alpha male, and we exert our own display of alphaness by dominance and aggression to either get a mate or lead a colony or tribe, and to kill a rogue animal for food and warmth. Yeah, these are all things that were factors back then. But we live we live in a pretty highly advanced intellectual. Well, not so much. We live in a highly advanced social society now, where we don't live under the mandate of or the instinct of kill or be killed or try to exert some dominance or just any of that. We live in a society where we can make negotiations, conversations, compromises. We're not all black and white people. If she's just referring to males, we can be. We're not very we're not very simple-minded, complicated people. We are complex people, where we could actually interact in social engagements, where we can actually learn a thing or two, or just kind of understand that person's bias compared to ourselves, and we can work a mutual agreement. But yeah, this whole men feel the need to prove themselves as the alpha. That's such a dated that's such a dated piece of information, like heavily dated. We're talking prehistoric. This reaction is enhanced when levels of testosterone are increased in the male body through physical fitness. Um, okay, well, yeah, physical fitness. You want to boost yourself, therefore you're boosting your own nature, and you definitely improve your mindset from working out. And testosterone are increased. Well, there are supplements where you can increase your testosterone, but it's there as a choice. Uh, People are willing to take testosterone supplements to make themselves either much more bulkier and bigger in shape, or just to express um, you know, or just to express how just a more flightier or flightful display of interactions with women. Because you want to most men out there just want to get as many partners as they can, while women just want to settle with one who can be the family man and stuff. Um, but I don't think testosterone increase leads to extreme aggression and physical confrontation. Well, you will reach a certain age because, let's say, if you're just a male and you're in your 20s and you never had a romantic partner, that would get to people where you're not willing to put up patience, and it's just a factor to that. But I wouldn't say that's the likelihood for all males in their 20s. Most males have ways to cope themselves without having romantic partners, as long as they have a strong network of friends, or you know uh, to to have a social life, because having a social life is important for all people. But I don't think. Well, if you're taking too much testosterone, yeah, it could push that. But that's if you're taking those supplements. You have a choice to take them or not. Studies have shown that signs of aggression in male dogs decrease exponentially following castration. Oh, so she's comparing us to animals. What a thoughtful, very thought-provoking comparison. So because we're so prone to testosterone driven testosterone given driven aggression, her her solution based on her studies with dogs is that males should be castrated, so that way they don't show so-called toxic masculinity display in society. What a great solution. What a great solution. Dr. Nicholas Dodman, veterinarian and behavior specialist, says neutering your male dog has valuable behavior benefits. It can minimize numerous unwanted behaviors, prevent frustrations, and improve quality of life. Of course, if you neuter a dog, the dog doesn't have the energy to you know it doesn't have the energy to showcase its nature again. Like a neuter dog is pretty much like it's a done dog. The dog's hit fucking early retirement for all I know. Like the dog doesn't want to do anything because by neutering a male dog's dick, you're cutting off its testosterone line to showcase, you know, energetic behavior, or even if it's unwanted, but it's still, dogs are animals. They'll behave instinctively as they are, as nature wants them to be. The same logic can be applied here. The lower the testosterone, the happier the man and the safer the society. Okay, by castration, no, that's not the fucking solution. That's not the fucking solution, Katie. Unfortunately, castration is not an option for humans at this point in time due to lack of research in the field of synthetically engineered sperm, which is necessary for procreation. Of course, yes. Castration is not the fucking option to solve the whole male toxic white male issue, because we're associated with Trump, and due to a lack of research. Yeah, the research, according to this doctor who is anonymous with a PhD, has not been proven yet whether that's sufficient. As a progressive society, we must acknowledge the fact that increased volumes of testosterone and the lack of emotional intelligence amongst men is being used as a weapon by our government to continue the cycle of misogynistic oppression towards women. No, it is not. I mean, governments with military branches want males to fit their needs to fight in war. But to say that it's being used as a propaganda vehicle to display misogyny against women, no, you're fucking wrong on that. To the woke males out there, so you're calling out to the woke males, so you're calling out to the beta males who will agree with your fucking skewed perspective. Okay, good luck with that. You need to take accountability for your fellow man's actions. Fellow man, okay. Make a conscientious effort to put it into this form of sexism. Don't remain a sheep for the rest of your life. Sincerely, a concerned feminist. I'm not calling her by her fucking position name. Katie. 1.2 stars out of 5. Okay, this is a fucking 0 for all I care. Yeah, we're gonna look at these comments. Shut up, whore. Okay, that's clever. That's some real excrement you wrote there. I became retarded from reading this. Yeah, I think anybody will be dumbfounded or even just brainwashed if you're definitely up the left-leaning side of things. Garbage article by a toxic misandrist. Yeah, just to wrap this up, this article is blatant misandry at its worst. There's nothing wrong with fucking getting yourself in shape and in order to live a happy lifestyle where you can definitely be more physically active to do many things in life, and you can open yourself to women when you reach when you reach that sort of stature or that sense of physical well-being. There's really nothing wrong with that. This is not part of the whole wheel-spinning propaganda movement to enforce misogyny. People have the choice to make these decisions. If they do make that choice, then they're awful people who should be incriminated. But for most people, you have the choice. You have the emotional well-being to know what is right or wrong in terms of interacting with women. And women give men consent. If men are not given consent and they still act on it, then that's clearly an act of assault and rape. We're gonna read forward these comments. So men want to get in good shape are actually animals who will always be misogynist and oppress women to compare men to dogs. Yes, that's a fucking horrible comparison. Bravo, journalist. Calling yourself a journalist who is supposedly unbiased is certainly ironic. It certainly is. And I'm sure, hopefully, she doesn't get another job at this website, or if this website is pushing for that, then this website will definitely lose traction. Even Hitler only hated a small percentage of the world. You seem to hate half of the entire world. Yes, half of the entire world that is predominantly populated by males. Calling these feminists feminazis is just disrespectful to the Nazis at this point. Yeah. Hitler did nothing wrong. The woke movement will be the end of humanity. Okay, I think I'm just going to cut this out. this is gonna be the end of my video. Like, comment, and subscribe. But if you guys want to make a comment, I'm pretty sure I know what your opinions are on this article. It's going to be pretty one-sided at this point, considering the comment sections that I just skimmed through a bit. But thank you for watching. This is the Mad Cap signing out. You're welcome to follow me on Twitter, and please look forward to any of my reports I will make on Mad Cap Productions. And thank you again for watching, and have a good night.